Hi, welcome everyone to this month's Gifting Back to the Community Health Education Series Masterclass. I'm so glad that you can join us today. I'm really looking forward to this one. So let's continue. So I'm really passionate about sharing about how gut health equals brain health. And I realized myself that I was at really high risk to develop dementia. And I decided that I needed to really minimize that risk and turn that around for myself because both of my parents were stolen from me by Alzheimer's disease. I combined my 15 years of research and holistic nutrition and being a brain health professional to become an expert in the gut-brain connection. And now I help midlifers who are worried about their risk of dementia, who are already suffering with like embarrassing and oftentimes painful digestive issues, heartburn, bloating, unpredictable bowels, leading to brain fog and early sign of memory loss. Over 80% of my clients who complete my program become symptom-free without the use of medications and reduce their likelihood of developing even more serious issues. And this is why I'm so passionate about what I do. I really believe that most chronic illnesses and diseases that we see today can really be controlled with our daily choices, our lifestyle choices, and our nutrition. For every webinar, I always need to put out this little housekeeping note, but just to share with everybody, the information that is shared here in this webinar masterclass is for educational purposes. It's not intended to diagnose or replace medical care or treat or prevent or mitigate or cure disease. And always consult with your healthcare provider before you ever start any kind of self-help program. It's always a good idea. This month's masterclass is mapping out your life of great health. And I thought this masterclass, I really enjoy this one. And I do have a lot of questions through this one, which you can take the time watching this as a recording to just reflect on and see what your answers would be. So with that being said, let's get started. Have you ever set a goal like being healthier? That's a great goal, but it's a little bit too vague. And the best way for us to actually reach our goals is to be really specific about them and have a plan to accomplish them. And how are you actually going to measure your success? Like, those are really important pieces. The easiest way to do this is to break down your big goal into those little bite-sized chunks, so that you can reach that larger goal by taking those smaller steps. Maybe something like walk around the neighborhood before dinner or after dinner 3 times a week, or every Sunday evening, start meal prepping your lunch for that week. The more specific you can be about your goals, the better. Let's look at some action steps that you can implement into improving your health. Portion control. The biggest tip that I can give you for this one is to use smaller plates and smaller bowls. In the 1960s, the average plate was 8 inches and held about 800 calories. How much do you think today's plate and calories have grown? Okay, this is a multiple choice question. So A is that it grew by 2 inches and 200 calories, or B is 4 inches and 1100 calories, or C is 3 inches and 800 calories. What do you think? For those of you that chose B, you're correct. Most plates today are at least 12 inches, and most of us place about 1900 calories on them. The more full a bowl or a plate looks, the more food we have in front of us. It's a psychological trick that makes us feel like, oh, okay, we're getting satisfied here. I want you to think about one food that you have trouble controlling yourself. We're all guilty of binge eating, especially when it comes to snacks and other foods that we just love. So the next time you are serving yourself one of your favorite foods, opt into that smaller bowl and that smaller plate. It is really a great tip, and you can cut so many calories out of your diet just by this simple step. I know, exercise, right? It's not the topic that most people get excited about, but I'm hoping that I can help you change that. I mean, we all know at this point that staying active is so important to our physical and mental health. I mean, the studies are endless on the benefits of regular exercise. But how can you become the type of person who gets excited about exercising? My biggest tip here is just start small. Instead of parking right there near the entrance of your store that you want to go to, really, it's beneficial to park far away and take those extra steps in the day, right? Check out local meetup groups. This is a great way to make new friends, spend time with people who may like walking or hiking or playing team sports. One of my friends just did this recently, hooked up with a local group, and she met with them and they all went hiking, and she met like 9 new friends and she had a blast. So look into that. You can Google out local meetup groups in your area and see what's out there. It's so much more fun when we can do things together with other people, and it also gives you that accountability partner. Build yourself up slowly. When I worked at the YMCA and I taught fitness classes for years, and I can tell you every January, an influx of people would come in, and oh my gosh, they were doing everything. They were taking multiple classes. Their schedules were really large. And what would end up happening is after a few weeks or a month or two, they couldn't sustain that and they would burn themselves out if they didn't even cause themselves an injury from over exercise. The more you start moving, the more likely you're going to just keep moving and you'll become a more active person overall. So here's the question to reflect on this one is, what's your favorite way to stay active? I really love walking through the woods myself. The easiest way to rack up unnecessary calories and waste money is skipping out on meal planning. When we don't have something readily available for us, we're going to go into what I call that reach and grab mode and just grab anything that's available. And usually, let's face it, those are usually not healthy choices. And if you take the time to make it a habit to start prepping your food to eat for the week ahead of time, oh my gosh, it will help you portion control your food. It will help you plan out your meals so that you can include healthy foods in them, and it'll save you money. There are dozens of blogs and websites dedicated to this meal prepping all over. All you need to do is just do a quick internet search and you will have hundreds of ideas, no matter the size of your budget. So I want you to just reflect on this. I mean, how many of you are already using this tool, this meal prepping tool? Do you feel like it just takes so much work to use fresh vegetables and fruits in our diet? Do you feel like they go bad really quickly and you're just tossing them away? Let's face it. Getting takeout or whipping up a box of mac and cheese just seems like so much easier. But incorporating more fruits and vegetables into our diet is something that all of us could benefit from. To make it your relationship with fruits and vegetables go a little bit smoother, maybe try some of these tips. As soon as you get them home from the store, wash them and go ahead and chop them up. If you can, cook, steam, roast them, already have them done, because then you're going to be more likely to eat them. Something that I personally like to do is I like to cook a little bit extra every day. And that way I can carry that over to the next day. And that helps me not have so much meal prep to have to do for a meal. So it saves me some time going forward. Only get fruits and vegetables that you like. Green beans, I mean, they might be cheap, but if you don't want them, don't buy them, or they'll just go to waste. Shop seasonally to save money, right? And be on the lookout for sales because they definitely happen. Maybe try to switch up from just apples or oranges and grab something a little bit more exciting, like maybe kiwi or mango or, maybe pineapple. And don't forget about the frozen food section. Oh my gosh, peas are full of protein. They are super affordable. Plus, they're an easy way to pop into any dish to get that pop of green that we all so desperately need. And, I don't know the last time you really looked in the frozen food section, but now there's so many choices. Like you can even get butternut squash already diced up, ready to go. All you gotta do is steam it, saute it, roast it, it's ready. And especially if you're a family of like one or two, I mean, who wants to buy a butternut squash that's like this big? I mean, what are you gonna do with all that squash? So it can be really an affordable way to get veggies in. So take the time the next time you're at the store and check out and see what's in that frozen food section. I think you might be really surprised on a lot of new things that have been added in. Eating out, oh my gosh, can quickly, be the easiest way for us to overindulge and break that healthy diet that we've been working on and trying to maintain. But let's face it, we should be able to go out and enjoy our time with friends and family. But the most important thing to keep in mind here is just keeping balance when you go out to eat. So instead of, saying, oh, I can't have those French fries, maybe get an order of French fries, but share them with a friend or somebody else at the table, or maybe ask for a kid size portion. Choose restaurants that won't tempt you to eat foods that you shouldn't eat. So if you're trying to eat more veggies, maybe it's not the best idea to go to a sports bar. Or if you're going out with friends and family, take the time to look at the menu ahead of time. That's something that I always do. I always check out the menu and see what's available that I can eat. And if it's necessary, ask if everybody could go to another restaurant. And if that's not possible, then make a plan ahead. Eat something, feel full before you go to the restaurant. And that way you can order a smaller portion of something instead of that giant plate of it on something that might not support you in the best way for your health. When we're on vacation, oh my gosh, we are so more likely to indulge, and that's totally okay. But just be sure that same thing, that balance comes out, right? If you're going to drink alcohol, then make sure that you're drinking a lot of water with it. If you're partaking in a lot of indulgent meals, try shooting for at least one healthy meal a day and make a point of doing some physical movement, walking around, being active every day. Look for a free yoga class or other activities that you could partake in while you're away from home. I know that I used to actually teach water fitness for a local hotel here, and they offered that to their guests. So you might be surprised on what could be available to you. When it comes to alcohol, it's easy to overindulge in those sugars and those calories, and those are empty calories. They don't really benefit us so much. Watch out for tonic water. It is full of sugar, even though it's barely sweet at all. I mean, who knew? When you go out for happy hour with your friends, opt for clear liquors because they tend to have less calories. Look for those sugar-free mixers and have real fruit instead of those flavored syrups and juices that we often see. And also be sure to balance that alcohol with plenty of water so that you can avoid getting dehydrated or hungover the next day. Remember, you can still go out and have a good time dancing with your friends and enjoying yourself without a cocktail, too. I mean, it's not required to have a good time. Sugar is sneaky, and it shows up in foods that we wouldn't expect. It's everywhere, like salad dressings, pressed juices, granola bars. Oh my gosh, don't even get me going on granola bars. I really feel like granola bars are a candy bar disguised to be healthy. And ketchup, I mean, just to name a few things that are packed with this stuff. You already know that soda and candy have sugar, but do you know how much sugar you should have in a day? According to my holistic nutrition training, the maximum amount of refined sugars you should eat in a day is 8 grams, and that equals 2 tablespoons. So if we took 8 and we divided it by 2, that is 4 grams of sugar in 1 teaspoon. I'm sorry, 4 grams equals 1 teaspoon of sugar. So be mindful of that as you start looking at labels going forward. How much sugar do you think is in something that may seem innocent, like a glass of orange juice? Did you know that an 8-ounce glass of orange juice has 21 grams of sugar? So if we take that 21 and we divide it by 4, that is over 5 teaspoons of sugar. So my question and my reflection question for this one is, do you have any idea how much sugar that you have in an average day? Now now that we've kind of talked a little bit about sugar, is an excellent time to mention about how important it is to read labels in general. Before you buy anything in the store, take a look at the nutritional label and what does that have to offer you? At first glance, things might seem like, oh, that's low in calories and low in sugar. But then look at that serving size, because let me tell you, those serving sizes most of the time are deceptively small. Like nobody's going to do that first serving. So make sure that you check that out. That serving size, really important. And look at those grams of sugar. Most people just don't get enough fiber. And fiber, I can't even tell you how much I love fiber. But vitamin A, vitamin C, calcium, magnesium in their diets, right? And a really great source of all of those are vegetables. We always need to eat more vegetables. And the more color you have, the better. You want to get a variety of vitamins and minerals in your diet. Here's the easiest way to do that. Build a rainbow on each time you have a meal. Have all those different colors, because all those different colors contain different nutrient values. And those are things that you're really looking for to support your health. Inflammation in our body, right? That's a natural response to stress, and we need it in order to heal. So think about that redness or swelling if you scraped your knee, right? That's your way of your body sending out help as a source of stress to support that healing. But did you know that inflammation can also occur within your body? You know, like in your muscles, in your gut, in your brain, in your joints. Inflammation is the primary cause of chronic pain. Most chronic health conditions and autoimmune disorders like Alzheimer's. To combat inflammation, you need to eat a cleaner diet, cut back on that sugar because it feeds inflammation and causes inflammation in the body, and make sure that you stay active. Probiotics are live microorganisms that are akin to our good bacteria that live in our gut. And without the proper diet and past use of antibiotics, their numbers can really dwindle, thus making probiotics needs more than ever in your health routine. When you go to buy a probiotic, it's so easy to get overwhelmed. Start by looking at the CFU count, or the colony forming units. CFU numbers can vary from several million to several billion, right? But the most effective doses are between, for just daily intake, is between 10 million and 1 billion a day. Or you could choose a spore-based probiotic, which works a little bit differently, which is something that I really recommend to my clients. And if that's something you're interested to learn a little bit more about, reach out to me, and I'll be glad to share some information with you. But probiotics can help with so many issues. Things like constipation, bloating, diarrhea, yeast infections, weight management, even our moods. The most important time to take a probiotic is when you have been prescribed an antibiotic. And I want to explain this because I've had a lot of people reaching out to me recently asking me about probiotics and antibiotics. So my suggestion is how to take the proper dosing is look and see when your antibiotic dose is. So I'll give you an example. If your antibiotic dose is every 12 hours, right, then what I would suggest is that you take your probiotic in the middle. So you would take it 6 hours after you took that antibiotic. So depending on how your antibiotics are set up and the dosing schedule, you're always going to want to take it in the middle, because if you take a probiotic with an antibiotic, the antibiotic will kill the probiotic and you're really not getting the benefit that you're seeking. And like I said, if you have any questions about probiotics, feel free to shoot me an email. I'll be happy to answer your questions. When you're building your plate, try to make half of it vegetables, and then keep your meat or your protein about the size of a deck of a card, or sometimes we hear people say like this, the size of the palm of your hand, and then fill the remainder of your plate with carbs. And I really love vegetable carbs, like winter squash, is something that I absolutely love, or even any type of squash. I really love using the vegetable carbs myself, but eating breakfast, include foods that are really full of proteins and good fats, eggs, seeds, nuts, avocados. They're all really useful for breakfast components. Even sauteed greens, which is something that I really enjoy. So the question here on this one is, what is your go-to breakfast? And maybe how could you improve that? We all get hit with that negative thoughts from now and, every now and then that happens. Here's some really helpful ways to push back against them, is that when you're having those negative thoughts, take the time and just write them down. Because if you don't already journal, get one, or scribble your thoughts down on a notepad. But by letting that stream, that circle of negative thoughts out of your head and put it onto the paper, it helps you move past it. But letting it just swim around in your head with no way to have an outlet will just keep those negative thoughts recycling over and over and over. Maybe you take the time to talk about it. If you have a friend who you feel comfortable talking with, or ask if they mind listening to you for a little while on something that's going on. Or if you prefer, seek out mental health professional. That's always a good idea. Now that we boost our confidence, right, now and then, who doesn't need to boost our confidence, right? It's really great to just give ourselves a little love and, take the time to do that. Perhaps that's an inspirational quote that you keep on the background of your phone, or maybe you write a little note that says, "You're amazing," and keep it on your bathroom mirror. How do you celebrate yourself every day? One way that I really like to celebrate myself is to give myself a high five, because let's face it, we just don't get, people don't tell us that we're amazing enough. And so we need to tell our own self. So one thing that I do is when I've done something that I'm really proud of, or I'm just like, wow, that's great, Allison. And I'll give myself a high five, because by saying my name and making that motion and sound, it actually sinks into the brain and is accepted by the body even more. So don't forget, say your name, give yourself some high fives, because you definitely deserve it. And if you're struggling with your diet, maybe take a time to write a note to remind yourself to feed yourself nourishing food, because you deserve it. And put that on the fridge, and so that you read that every time you go in, that you're making the best choices for you because you deserve it. We can easily get into the habit of filling our days with routines, that are very practical, but yet super boring. We get so used to the things around us that we go on automatic pilot, and we don't even enjoy the beauty that surrounds us. So to help solve this, take the time throughout the day and observe your surroundings. Allow yourself to take a moment to feel grateful for simple things like, I don't know, maybe the fact that there's somebody out there that actually invented the spatula, and it's the perfect tool for frying an egg. Or, one helpful way to go about this exercise is just to pretend for a moment that you have child's eyes and that you're seeing these things for the very first time. What is something incredible that you take for granted? Staying motivated is an important step in working towards reaching your goals. And to help you keep that mind moving positively, maybe you want to consider creating a vision board and place it somewhere where you see it every day, and fill that board with like photographs, sayings, other things that bring you joy and inspiration. Usually vision boards, they're used to help motivate personal or professional pieces of life, but you can also use them to motivate you in your health aspects as well. So think about filling one up with like yummy recipes or healthy foods or fresh vegetables or a refreshing looking glass of water or pictures of sunshine, the outdoors, or other, images that really bring you the feeling of health and happiness. There are healthy and unhealthy ways of dealing with stress. And it all comes down to how you channel your negative energy. Are you channeling it into something productive, or are you channeling it into something unproductive? Unhealthy, unproductive includes things like binge eating, overindulging in alcohol or other substances, getting angry, but not doing anything about it. Healthy, productive ways of dealing with your stress are things like exercising, talking about your stress with someone you trust, finding some kind of creative outlet, if that's writing, painting, drawing, knitting, something that you really enjoy. Cleaning or even organizing can really help us with our stress. A simple thing like laughter is amazing. It decreases the stress hormones and increases the immune cells and infection fighting antibodies. And I mean, who doesn't need that right now? Laughter is powerful medicine. How many times do you laugh in a day? The goal, by the way, here is 300 times daily. I know it seems like a lot, but look at little kids, man. They laugh all the time. How can you incorporate more laughter into your life? Some ideas: put photos, greeting cards, comic strips around your living space that make you smile. Make a habit of hanging out with people who make you laugh. And then don't forget to share funny stories or jokes with those people, and help them laugh, right? Find a TV show that makes you laugh out loud. Recently, I watched on Netflix 25 Best Stand-Up Special, which was all comedians, and it was hysterical. So if you haven't watched that one yet, give that one a try. But what's something that never fails to make you laugh? Self-care, it's a term that is getting thrown around a whole lot, but what does it really even mean, right? Self-care is any activity that we do deliberately to take care of our mental, emotional, and physical health. Doing things for ourselves that help refuel us and offer us energy instead of something that depletes us. Self-care needs to be, an active choice that you make to take care of your needs. And it's different for everyone, but here's a few tips to help you structure some self-care practices. I always love to say that yes equals stress. So establish that no list. No to checking emails at night. Create an automated email response to your emails after 5 p.m. that lets people know that you'll get back to them in the morning. No to attending gatherings with people who just drain your energy. And no to going to events that you don't really want to attend. And some things that we should really do for ourselves is follow up on our medical care, right? Schedule those biannual dentist appointments, those cleanings. Oh my gosh, they're so important. You know, the mouth, that oral care, that's really the first step of health. And I don't know if you know this or not, but like gingivitis has been found in the brains of people who have been diagnosed with dementia. And so by taking care of that oral care, it's so important. Be sure to get your eyes checked every year. And don't put off those checkups and those follow-ups, those annual exams with your doctor. You know, make sure that you get those done. Look at that annual blood work. Promote a nutritious diet and treat yourself to healthy food, you know, things that really support yourself. And do at least one thing every day that you really enjoy, whether that's like cooking a really nice meal for yourself or watching a program that you love or spending time with, you know, just friends chatting. How do you do self-care? And, you know, how could you get more of it in? Our time might be over, but your work has just begun. And, you know, I hope that you'll take some of these action steps and implement some of those into your health goals for this year. Well, that's the end of our masterclass for today. And thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day to join me. And I absolutely loved getting to share this masterclass with you. And I hope that you learned some smaller step goals that help you map out your life to great health. I also want to add how proud I am of each of you for taking the steps to create habits and routines that will make you happier and healthier. And if you have any further questions after watching this, please just send me an email. I'm here to support you. And if you feel like that you need support right now on your health journey, don't hesitate to ask for help. I would love to offer you a health strategy session as my gift to you, where you can carve out, you know, we can get together, we can spend 30 to 60 minutes so I can get to learn about what's going on with you and what support you need to get the results that you're looking for. If you go to my website, earlybirdwellness.com, you can easily book this and choose the time and date that works best for you. What's coming up next in my Gifting Back to Our Community Health series? Starting in February, we're going to be doing an email series on the foundational approach to wellness. So might want to sign up for that one. Also, February 16th is our next video masterclass where we going to be talking about learn how to stop overeating. So stay on the lookout for those email invites. And I look forward to seeing all of you in the next group. I also would like to share that I am starting a Clubhouse group. And if you're not familiar with Clubhouse, it's an audio only app. And the name of our club is Shifting Health, and it's myself and some other holistic practitioners and a productivity coach that will be in that room, sharing all kinds of health information. And you just come in and you can come on the stage if you choose to and ask questions, share your own, knowledge. We would love to have you. And we'll be starting to do that room this Friday. So it's going to be Fridays from 12 to 1, kind of a lunch chat thing. So if that's the time that you're having lunch or you're driving or you're doing your daily walk or whatever that is, it's such a great app because you can just listen. you can just tune in and listen in. So I would love it if you would join our Shifting Health Clubhouse group. That would be amazing. And maybe I'll see you there. If not, I'll see you next month. And everyone, have a wonderful day, and health and happiness to all of you. Take care.